Greetings, children of the screen, your friendly neighborhood nerd scum here. This is a warm-up for the Contrarians podcast that I edited. Been working with them for about a year and a half now. And as the title would dictate, this is just a warm-up for their full-blown podcast episode covering the 1995 film Judge Dredd. So definitely go and check that out. The links are in the description.
Hello, Contrarians watchers, listeners, subscribers. Here we are with another Contrarians warm-up, this time for our Judge Dredd episode. That is Judge Dredd, the Sylvester Stallone movie that is rotten on the tomato meter, not the Carl Urban Dredd, Just Dredd movie that might be a little higher on the tomato meter. I don't know if we ever checked, but I know it's generally more well-liked. It's not as maligned as the Stallone version, but malign means that we go in and we praise what's rotten, and that's what we're going to be doing in the main episode of the show. Here, as usual, I'm going to be giving you some extra Rotten Tomatoes quotes, some extra trivia, and, of course, the Josh Gad Minute. We're going to put Josh Gad here in Judge Dredd. Alex, did you look it up? Do you know what the score is for Dredd?
I know the one we're covering, the 1995 one, is 22%.
Okay.
And then it looks like the 2012 Carl Urban vehicle is 80%.
Whew.
So well received.
I knew that they liked it. I didn't realize that they
certified fresh
gap.
even.
Wow. Well, everybody loves Carl Urban.
I was about to say it's the Olivia Thirlby bump you get from that.
Olivia Thirlby and the Queen from Game of Thrones is the main villain in that movie.
Lena Headey?
Yes, yeah. So,
All right.
we're not here to talk about that. That is, although there are some comparisons done in the episode, but this is about Sly taking on an iconic character, an iconic actor taking on an iconic character, and having Rob Schneider as a sidekick. It's
true.
It's good stuff. They don't make them like that anymore.
They do not make them like they used to.
No.
Julio, before we get to the quotes, we need to get better about this. We're on YouTube after all. And it's Judge Dredd. It's a comic book movie, so we might be getting some new listeners. Like, subscribe, and comment. We need to get better about saying these on these. Because we get so conversational.
I know. I trust Corey to put some sort of graphic towards the end, but you're right. We need to say the words. So yeah, what he just said. And this video will link to the actual episode, so you don't have to leave YouTube to listen to the episode. But let's get to the quotes, Alex. There's rotten quotes galore. Lots of critics just jumping at the chance to just talk trash about Stallone and his portrayal of Joseph Dredd. That's something that I didn't bring up in the episode, and I was wondering, is that them adding to the mythology? Is he takes a helmet off, even though he never takes a helmet off in the comics. Do we know Judge Dredd's first name in the comics? Or
it does say Judge Joseph Dredd is a fictional character created by John Wagner and artist Carlos Esquerra. Esquerra, excuse me.
Well, I was hoping that Stallone had gone all in.
Burst. Yeah, I'm sorry.
All right, well, let's get to the quotes. I'm going to start with a familiar name. Emmanuel Levy from emmanuellevy.com says, a diffuse, uninvolving star vehicle aimed at saving Stallone's box office viability manages to displace most of his weaknesses. Does this movie expose Stallone's weaknesses?
No.
It shows the jawline. I think that's the strength.
Arguably his greatest strength. Stallone's such a tricky one because Rocky's amazing and he's great in Rocky and Rocky 2. And by this point he was obviously Sly must pose, that we know, and then it wasn't again until Copland 2 years later that we got arguably his best performance. So I could see where people thought he was just kind of just meathead Jones out there. But weaknesses, no. Like, he's not asked to give any long monologues or cry at any point in this movie. So I would say it offers nothing unforeseen. Like, you don't watch this movie and say, man, that was unpredictable. But I don't think it does much to show any weaknesses.
Yeah, I was thinking if anything, it leans hard on the perceived strengths, because
Mhm.
I know you haven't seen the Carl Urban movie, and I saw it a long time ago. Can you imagine Carl Urban, great actor as he is, delivering "I am the law" in a much more entertaining and impactful way than Stallone in this movie?
No, and that line that I call out in the episode where he tells Rob Schneider about when they're trying to get back into the city and it's the
Mhm.
exhaust that they're trying to go back through. He's like, "No, the guy who tried it got killed, but the theory's sound." You know, that's there's a lot of very good sly delivery in it. Or what is it? You betrayed the law when he tells that to Rico.
You betray the law! Law!
God
It's
bless Carl Urban, but I see your point.
yeah. Carl Urban can play the Rob Schneider character, and that's fine.
Mm.
But for Joseph Dredd, let's keep with Sly. Next, Michael DeQuina from themoviereport.com says, "For a good laugh, check it out. For good action, look elsewhere." The action, would you say, for the 90s standard, would you say the good action is there?
Yeah.
It's just that now we're,
There's really not too much in this movie that looks bad by like aging. The big chase sequence is very like this is fairly primitive green screen we got going on here, but no, the action's there.
it's a big robot.
Diane Lane's character exists to culminate in a cat fight, and there's that big robot, yeah, that laughs while it's gunning down people. Some pretty cool violence. Some cars blow up and whatnot. Is it T2? No, but it's a movie that's an hour and a half and it's got some pretty sweet action and violence throughout it. So I disagree.
Yeah. Stallone fights some cannibals.
Oh yeah, forgot about all that.
It's a couple fun set pieces. So yeah, and yeah, for a good laugh. I mean, there's a few good laughs.
Mm-hmm.
I think, like I said, Stallone has that type of delivery that if you know how to use it, it can be funny. So
You get Rob Schneider doing a Sylvester Stallone impression at one point.
high point of the movie, easily. All right, next, Karen James from New York Times says, "Although it is full of noise and fake firepower, Dredd simply lies there on the screen until the final scenes."
It's oddly sexual.
I know, what an awful way to describe a movie.
Yeah.
Dredd just lies there and you watch it happen for 90 minutes. I think that implies that the movie is not making an effort. And I disagree. I think this movie is making an effort. It might not work for you, and that's fine, but I wouldn't call it a lazy adaptation. At most, as we acknowledged in the episode, neither Alex or I are familiar with the source material. So we don't know how faithful this is to the Judge Dredd comics, to 2000 AD or any. But so it could be a misguided adaptation, but there's some good work being put in here. It's not a Pixar sequel or something.
Yeah.
It'll make money. Just throw it out there. And then we are going to close, Alex, with Widget Walls from neatcoffee.com, who says, "If there was ever a film that made you want to pretend you were Ray Milland in the last reel of X, this was it." Pick this one to close, Alex, because I have no idea what it's referencing. So I wanted to know if you knew what it was referencing. It's not the most recent X. It's not Ty West X. And if you look up Ray Milland, it's like an actor from way back when, and he has a movie called X-Ray. I think I have it right here. Yeah, X, the man with the X-ray eyes. So if anybody out there has seen that movie, you might know what Widget Walls is talking about.
Yeah. That's
I can infer that maybe Ray Milland goes blind at the end of X, the man with the X-ray eyes, and so he'd rather have that happen than watch Judge Dredd. Seems a little extreme.
okay. So it was titled X, and its promotional title was X, the man with the X-ray eyes. So it looks like that is what he's referring to. And yeah, just based off some of the promotional stills and screen caps I'm seeing here, it looks like his eyes go bye-bye.
Well, there you go. X-ray eyes, so you can just look past Stallone's awesome Judge Dredd costume, and you can just see naked Stallone.
My eyes. Yeah.
Why not? That's the X version of Judge Dredd. But that's as far as quotes go, Alex. Before we go to trivia, let's do the Josh Gad minute. Let's put Josh Gad in this movie, and I think there's a pretty obvious spot for him. But let's see if we have any alternatives.
Yeah, obviously the Fergie role where he's the comedic sidekick to Judge Dredd, but uh, for better or for worse, Rob Schneider kind of works in this movie. So I guess he could be in James Remar's gang at the beginning, but if you want to give him something kind of memorable to do, he could be one of the Angel family.
Cannibals.
Yeah. There's the not the Mean Machine, the one that's all wired up and stuff, but they all have lines,
Yeah.
and they all fight with Sylvester Stallone, so we get some choreography with Josh Gad and Sly, and
He can
I think
replace the guy from Trainspotting. I think Bremer is one of them.
there you go, Junior Angel, yeah,
Yeah.
or you can make him one of the token chiefs on the or judges, excuse me, on the board that gets gunned down by the robot, but. Or he could be the guy, I don't remember the actor's name, I don't remember his face right now. He could be the guy that runs the pawn shop that Rico goes into and gets the
Oh, he has the
gun.
one scene where he
Yeah.
kills him. Or Alex, he could be the robot. Just
What, doing like the fucking Vin Diesel Groot thing where he just has a few lines that he said? All right.
Not gonna lie, if we're gonna have Josh Gad in a Judge Dredd movie, I want him dressed as a judge. Maybe he replaces Diane Lane.
No. Or he could, last one, as you can see, there's a lot of places for Josh Gad to fit in the Judge Dredd universe. He could play Vardis Hammond. He could replace Mitchell Ryan as the reporter who gets murdered. The one that is when Rico frames Joseph.
A lot of these choose your own adventures end with Josh Gad dying. So
yes.
Maybe, okay, we'll get what we both want. Josh Gad dying on screen and Josh Gad dressed as a judge. He can be the rookie that gets killed at the beginning.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
And it fits with his character. He's a little too eager to please, and then he gets shot by James Remar.
Or, so he doesn't have to die at all. He's the voice of like the machines that tell you to eat recycled food. It's Josh Gad does the voice for that. Because we already have James Earl Jones doing the narration in the beginning, so why not get another A-lister in there doing some voiceover work?
A favorite Sly. Like, sure, why not? I love Rocky. You can put him anywhere, and yes, if this was a real Hollywood production, he would be in, Schneider would be out.
Yes.
That way we don't have to put Rob Schneider's real life nonsense.
I was about to say, especially in 2024.
Yes. But that's fine. We'll let him have that one. Where do you want to put Josh Gad in the Judge Dredd movie? Let us know. That's the thing that you have to comment on. I want to see Josh Gad replace Max von Sydow and get impaled in the back. We'll do that. But anyway, that was the Josh Gad Minute. Alex, let's go to trivia. What do you have?
All right. So if you're curious as to what this movie was originally dealing with and its NC-17 rating and what they had to work with to get it down to an R, listen to the episode. This movie is considered to be a flop. It grossed only $34.7 million in North America. It did it better internationally, grossing close to $80 million. Its total rake-in was about $114 million against a $90 million budget. We talk about in the episode the movies it was up against in the month it was released. That was June of 1995. This came out on June 30th of 1995. A movie directed by Danny Cannon, written by William Wisher and Contrarians legend Stephen E. DeZosa. We talk about a lot of the issues with the writing and the difference and what the expectation for tone should be. As far as early development, Julio, if you had to guess, besides Sylvester Stallone, who was originally penned in to play Judge Dredd, who would you guess?
Well, Carl Urban was probably too young.
Yes.
So
it's painfully obvious.
Arnold?
Yeah. Arnold was considered for the title role before Sly was eventually cast, even though Stallone had never heard of the character. Yeah.
I don't see it.
We love Arnold, me more so, but yeah, no. Cannon initially pursued Joe Pesci for the part of Fergie.
Wow. It would be kind of a toned down version of his character in Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, but the actor turned it down. Imagine you just told him to fuck off.
You think I'm funny? Am I funny to you?
I'm a clown. I amuse you. Stallone and his co-star Armand Asante, wore blue contact lenses to match Max von Sydow, who plays their genetic father. That makes sense now. That's a little touch that they don't really call out in the movie, and I was like, why the fuck is Sly wearing those blue contact lenses? So I appreciate that. Asante deliberately mimics Stallone's speech patterns to better reflect their characters' relationship as siblings. Armand Asante does a lot of things with this role,
Yes.
most of which are insane.
Yeah, that little bit of acting might have gotten lost in the gazillion things he's doing with the character.
But aside from that, we talk about the production and the players involved in the episode. Be sure to check it out. But this is, after all, a movie released in the mid-'90s, so we got to talk about two things. We got to talk about the soundtrack, and we got to talk about the video game adaptation, baby.
Uh-huh.
1995, Epic Records released a soundtrack album featuring 7 tracks from the score, all performed by the Sinfonia of London, but most were not the versions used in the film. And songs by The Cure, The, White Zombie, Left Field. The UK edition also had Rio Asuka and World Beaters with To Nador. Only the first 2 songs are heard in the film over the end credits. As I mentioned in the episode, nothing will prepare you for the closing credits of this movie having an original song from The Cure that was made for this movie called Dredd Song. So,
like Alex said, Anthrac's song is right there. Nope.
Anthrax. It's just called
I Am the Law.
I Am the Law, yeah. Alan Silvestri was the composer on this. I just love the idea of like these songs performed by an orchestra and then Rob Zombie kicks in with, thinking about God knows what. It used to be better. We used to release CD. Like, dude, you can just picture the CD. It's just the poster, Judge Dredd's face, and it says music from the original music from the motion picture, Judge Dredd. But then we also had the Judge Dredd video game, which different from a lot of the movies we've covered here, be it Lawnmower Man, Bram Stoker's Dracula, Last Action Hero, I think. Those kind of would come after the fact. This was actually released like in coordination with the movie. It was released 2 weeks before Judge Dredd. It was on the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, Game Boy, Game Gear, and you could get it for your DOS and also your Windows computer.
Stallone's likeness? Please tell me yes.
I mean, for a 16-bit game. We're just seeing here, it was released on Steam, but it was delisted by the publisher in January of 2023. So this game features a run and gun gameplay with a variety of weapons. The player is given a choice to either execute criminals or arrest them. So even back in 1995, they're presenting a moral quandary to you. Levels range from the major futuristic city known as Mega City 1, a prison in a post-nuclear wasteland, ruins, and a showdown with the rogue Judge Rico Dredd. The plot. In the 22nd century, everyone lives in the urban areas of the world. Police officers and lawyers have been abolished, and only the judges are in complete control of human society. One of them, Judge Dredd, must pursue the renegade Judge Rico and Mega City's most dangerous criminals. Eventually, Dredd defeats Rico and wins a final battle with the Dark Judges to rescue Mega City. I like that he rescues it. In the movie, that's not exactly how it ends. This is really cool. I thought this was really cool. For 7 of the game's 12 levels, the backgrounds were created by digitizing sets from the movie. That's kind of advanced for the time. And the remaining 5 levels use backgrounds from the comic book. So that's
even better.
We get a little bit of both worlds there. A conversion of the game was developed for the Atari Jaguar. Do you remember the Jaguar?
I mean, I never had one, but I remember it being around.
I've never played one. I've seen one in person like twice at like retro gaming conventions and shit. Legendary, disastrous console, but it had a Judge Dredd game. God damn it!
So I wonder if because those games they all have like the same patterns. So do you think your special move was calling Judge Hershey to come in and like shoot up like some people and then
your
leave?
V trigger?
Yeah.
She comes in and God, imagine we're just on our previous warm up talking about the idea of Marion Cotillard playing video games. I'm even more tickled by the idea of Diane Lane picking up a fucking Game Gear in 1995. Be like, it's just like the movie.
Rob Schneider, you find him. There's one Rob Schneider in each level, and he like fills up your health.
Some of those games back in the day, yeah, he just like comes out of like he's hidden.
Yes, yeah.
You have to like knock over a trash can, and he comes out and bloop 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 bloop.
Yeah.
Those games, like the 16-bit games, you could sometimes digitize like really short snippets of like audio. So just he appears, he's like making copies, and then fills up your health. Next Generation reviewed the Super Nintendo version of the game, 2 out of 5 stars, stating, "While it's well animated and tightly designed, it still doesn't make Judge Dredd very interesting." Mixed reviews overall, but as you can imagine, anyone who's listening to this that is as old as Julio and myself, you can remember those games of the 90s. So the cover is just essentially the movie poster, Stallone on it. I was a Genesis kid, but the Super Nintendo box art for specifically like property games,
Mm-hmm.
those have aged so like artistically that it's obviously just something I couldn't appreciate at the time. I liked having my Genesis games on a shelf, like, books. You could just pull it out, pop it open like that. And also, I wasn't anywhere near responsible enough to have actual cardboard boxes that I held on to. So, but like that's if you go to these gaming conventions now, people know that because you'll buy just the box, and if it's in like a certain condition, it costs a pretty penny.
Oh, I completely forgot. I thought you were talking about just the art as on the cartridge. But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Oh,
Like
no, the
the
box art.
box
Yeah,
itself,
yeah,
the way it came.
yeah.
Yeah, my brother still has a Super Nintendo, and he just has a drawer that's full of cartridges. There's no boxes. It's just cartridges. Some of them don't even have like the labels anymore because they're so old. And I'm like, how do you know? And he's like, I just put it on. See what happens when I turn it on.
Judge Dredd, rated T for teen, Super Nintendo box art boasts futuristic firepower, explosive movie and comic book action, high-speed Lawmaster action, and ABC robot Mean Machine and more. So it's all there, man.
It's fun for any Judge Dredd fan, be it of the movie or of the comics.
So as we talk about, there's someone when we talk about like happenings like this, there's someone out there, some kid. His dad took him to see Judge Dredd in the theater, and then they stopped at Blockbuster on the way home, and he rented the game. And that's all he did all weekend. So God bless. Used to be better, etc., etc. Listen to the episode.
It is. I mean, this is our seventh, eighth Stallone movie. He's almost a regular at the Contrarians right now, and this one, regardless of how we end up feeling about the movie itself, it's one of the easy conversations, I think, because it's a movie that, even though, again, like I said, we are not Judge Dredd fans as far as like readers of the comics and all that, like it is the kind of movie that somewhat appeals to what we like, and those are usually the easiest to talk about. So, and Rob Schneider is always there to make fun of, so good stuff too.
And not for nothing, Cole, Diane Lane.
I was trying to keep it mature, but yes, she looks great in that Judge Dredd outfit, and man, she does what she can with
oh yeah,
what they've given her.
Yeah, we jest because she's obviously a very pretty woman, but like she did absolutely everything she could in this, including the delivery of like her big gotcha line in the movie. That we won't spoil that here.
Yeah. But anyway, that was Judge Dredd. Watch the movie if you haven't for some reason. If you're only familiar with the most recent Dredd movie, give this one a shot. Don't let the reputation keep you from watching it, because really, it might have been a little bit of an overreaction when it first came out. Now, if you're a hardcore fan of the comics, then maybe
Yeah, I'm not gonna tell you how to feel in that case, but what I can just tell you is like someone who's watched a fair amount of movies and talked about them on the internet. This movie is nowhere near as bad as its legacy would lead you to believe.
Yes, it's better than Hancock. We'll say that.
Yes. Most things are.
Yes. But anyway, feel free to vent on the comments. Tell us what they got wrong and what the new one or the most recent one got right. I don't know that I feel like rewatching that, but maybe someday I will. Maybe you guys will convince me. We'll see. Coming up next, Alex, we are getting ready to celebrate our 10th year anniversary, but we have one more movie before we start celebrations, and it's a big one, and we're going to have a guest. So we're going back to Senor Spielbergo's catalog. We're going to do Saving Private Ryan, which is probably like 3 times the tomato meter score that Judge Dredd has. Probably more, 4 times. at least. That's been like the 80s and 90s. It's a fresh movie, so we're going to nitpick it very carefully.
94%.
94%. We're going to have our friend, fellow podcaster Paul Prezula from The Countdown. It's one of his favorite movies. So of course, we had to make him come and try to be critical of it. So that is our next episode. Watch Saving Private Ryan. Do a double feature, Judge Dredd, Saving Private Ryan. You choose the order. Listen to the episode. Like we said, you can just go straight to the episode from this video and check out what else we have to offer. It's all over here on this channel. So thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you again soon.